state local government election is an attestation that Nigeria is ripe for it in the interest of credible and generally acceptable elections.
The election of Kaduna State, organized by Kaduna State Independent Electoral Commission, where this thing was used, the other electoral voting was used, and the election came out to be free and fair, and the opposition made it so that Nigeria is gradually advancing, and that with that, I think introducing it to Nigeria and enacting it into our law will be a very good development.
Speaking in the same vein was another legal practitioner, Mr. Femi Anyedokun, who noted that apart from reduction in crime in electoral crime matters, electronic, as shown during Kaduna local government election, is the best Nigeria can have to further strengthen its democracy.
Well, it is quite desirable that we automate our voting system in Nigeria for a lot of reasons, obvious reasons. It will deal a lot with the vexed issue of rigging that involves overvoting, that involves voter apathy,
Role of Messrs. Adesina and Anyedokun called on the National Assembly to have a rethink and consider electronic voting system as the answer to the yearnings of an African Nigeria for credible elections. Saeed Adeboye, OSBC News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says conflicting orders by court are making its job difficult. It also declared that no one will be allowed to vote except such a person that undergone an electronic authentication of his identity using its bimodal voter accreditation system (BVAs). INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this during a meeting with political parties in Abuja. He also lamented the growing number of conflicting court orders and judgments, which are usually procured by politicians seeking to outmaneuver one another. On the Anambra governorship election, Yakubu said the commission will use it on one afternoon tomorrow. Government have abducted a retired NBC director Alhaji Ahmed Abdul Kadri and his 15-year-old daughter Leila when the government raided Bakori housing unit. It was found that 3 other residents were abducted by the bandits who wielded AK-47 rifles. Others abducted were identified as Alhaji Bello Aminu Bakori, Samshuddin Aminu, and one Abibu Rabi. Police authorities were yet to respond to inquiries by reporters as of the time of filing this report. The Super Falcons are now taking on the Blue Sharks of Cape Verde in the second Group C game of the Qatar 2022 World Cup qualifier. Adeyemi Abodere Asmo on Sports Update.
The Super Eagles had a field of the Estadio Municipal Aderito on Monday as the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Cape Verde is underway. The training, which lasted 45 minutes, had the coaches' perfect tactics for the match, and during the session, the team bubbled even more when report came in from Nigeria that a second COVID-19 test run on Samuel Kalu and Tyrone Ebuehi had returned negative. Both players had the initial COVID-19 test result come out positive, and the team, in following the COVID-19 protocol, fully had to get the players to isolate while the other 19 players traveled to Cape Verde. Media officer of the team, Babafemi Raji, explained that it was necessary to take the appropriate safety steps by having the affected players stay away from the team while waiting for the result of the second test. Meanwhile, the Lone Stars of Liberia on Monday evening returned to winning ways in the ongoing 2022 Qatar World Cup qualifier as they beat the Central African Republic 1-0. Liberia lost the first game to the Super Eagles at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos on Friday. The result means Liberia now has 3 points, but are second in the group. In the meantime, barely 5 months to the start of the delayed 2021 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon, Super Eagles group opponent, Pharaohs of Egypt, have sacked its manager, Osam El Badri. the 7-time African champions have been going through a series of crises since it hosted the 2019 African Cup of Nations and crashed out in the second round after a 0-1 defeat to the Bafana of South Africa. Ed Badri was named as Egypt's head coach by the Egyptian Football Association after Javier Aguirre was sacked following the 2019 African Cup of Nations. The Egyptian Football Association will decide the new technical staff for the national team. The maiden Aisha Buhari Invitational Women's Football Tournament earlier